Fancy a stick of Blackpool rock or a coconut from Jamaica? Getaway.
Hello, time now for some sunshine. Neil and I are here to whisk you to the Caribbean and also over to an American waterfall that's 13 times higher than Niagara. But first, closer to home, we take a look at what we found this summer when the Getaway team visited the seaside town that claims to be Europe's most popular resort.
For many people, Blackpool is shorthand for everything blousy, brash and breezy. You hear people putting you off a holiday resort by telling you that it's just like Blackpool. All over Britain, seaside town councillors promise that their promenade won't become another Blackpool. It's a rum sort of resolution because Lancashire's most famous bawdy blot on the coast claims to be Europe's most popular seaside town. In Blackpool, they've got the figures to back up this claim. We make 17 million holiday visits a year to Blackpool, and between us we spend a whopping £445 million. The average take for a normal summer's day is £1.5 million, but on one single day, the cash tills have been known to take up to £5 million.
6 and 9, 69. White, 5 and 4, 54.
Blackpool's been taking cash off trippers for over 100 years, since before they put up their Eiffel Tower copy in 1894.
There were outings that we used to come on, and you always drove to you went to Winter Gardens for your meal, and then we used to go to Uncle Tom's cabin, and that was, everybody went there, and then we came down the front in a landau, and then we used to go dancing to Joe Lawson, you know, in the Winter Gardens. It was great.
But in these days of sophisticated foreign packages, what has Blackpool, with its polluted sea and its kiss me quick image, still got that keeps us crowding in there?
I would say Blackpool beats any Spanish resort I've been in, hands down. Because they haven't got the, well, I'm saying accommodation, possibly their accommodation slightly better. Entertainment-wise, they can't compare with Blackpool, nowhere above where I've been. I would come to Blackpool every time. So I wouldn't say there's anywhere better for a holiday than Blackpool.
The famous Blackpool landladies who run the hundreds of backstreet guest houses are understandably enthusiastic too, whatever the weather.
When it's raining, the old people, they like to go to the clubs, like British Legion and all those, because of bingo, raffle. The youngsters, they go to discos, we lay a taxi on if it's too wet. The little ones, the baby ones, if the parents want to go out in the evening, we babysit for them. We try to change nappies and feed and things like that and put them to bed. A little guest house or just a couple more rooms, you're still a friendly family. You treat them as one of yourself. And they treat you like one of themselves. They think it's home from home. They can do what they want. My guests come from all over the place. Ireland, Newcastle, Gloucestershire, Worcestershire, Tewkesbury, Cheltenham, America, Australia. I've had 3 from Australia, all over the place.
Bed and breakfast costs from £9 a night, and a guest house dinner, served at around 5 o'clock in time to catch the shows, can cost as little as £3. Mind you, everyone these days is having to watch the pennies.
They're very, very tight because of the poll tax. Myself is struggling with that. Also with the mortgage rates going up, people just can't afford to come away like they used to odd weekends or for longer holiday. It's just shortening off now.
You don't have to spend a lot of money to have a good time in Blackpool, but if you have got a bob or two to spend, there's plenty of choice.
There's plenty to do, isn't there? If it's raining, there's plenty of places to go. I mean, you can go to Scarborough, you can go to Whitby, you can go to Filey. But if you have a bad week for weather, there's nowhere else for kids to do, or there ain't a great deal for the kids to do. You know, if you're here for a week, you're buggered out here after a couple of days, like, you know what I mean? So, might as well come here. Plenty for them to do.
Sunshine or rain, for the price of a ticket to the tower, you can retreat to the most wonderful interior in Europe, some would say the world. Here in the Tower Ballroom, it's not hard to pretend that Lagerlouts, Jason Donovan and the pole tax have never been invented. And the Baroque splendor of the ballroom is more beautiful than ever it looks on Come Dancing. Whatever their age or dancing abilities, all sorts of people come here to sashay and glide away their holiday to music from the mighty Wurlitzer. Meanwhile, down the prom, Blackpool is clocking up more record-breaking statistics. Last year, 6.5 million people visited the pleasure beach. The Blackpool statisticians say it's the second most visited free entry attraction in Europe, second only to the Vatican. But they do say that the Blackpool Vicar is working on it.
It's quite expensive compared with a lot of tourist resorts, but it's not too bad, it's worth it, most of the rides.
It's free to visit the pleasure beach, but you pay up to £1.30 for a ride.
Yellow, 1 and 7, 17.
Not that that stops people having a good time.
Everything that costs money, they like.
We've been here a couple of years and we just enjoy it. Very good.
It is expensive, it's an expensive place, but it's a family place.
It's brilliant.
But it's expensive. For the kids, I think.
Blackpool has 3 piers, 7 miles of sand, a proper prom with real Edwardian trams, and a nightlife that the Blackpool press officer has described as the Las Vegas of Britain. Blackpool does well out of conferences and conventions, the political ones and many others, including, in January, the largest pigeon fanciers conference in the world. The holiday season lasts till early November, thanks to £1.5 million worth of lights that get switched on every night from August Bank Holiday up to Bonfire Night. Blackpool calls their illuminations the greatest free show on earth, and what the town spends on electricity is well covered by what the tourists spend on having a good time.
We've been coming to Blackpool for the last 10 years, so we enjoy it, don't we? Home from home.
It's always a nice atmosphere. A holiday atmosphere, I think, in Blackpool. You don't see many people going around with miserable faces, do you, in Blackpool?
It's a bit brash and vulgar, I think.
Yes.
But, you know, I think people like it. If you like that sort of thing, you know.
Well, I, for one, certainly do like that sort of thing, and a brilliant funfair too. Now, £12 for bed, breakfast and evening meal, you can't go far wrong. Anyway, after Blackpool, Alison Rice and the team flew straight to Jamaica to try what travel agents call a cash-free holiday. That's where your holiday price is supposed to include everything you could possibly need on holiday.
Probably the most sobering thing you can do on holiday is add up the true cost of your trip. Add up the price of all your drinks and meals, any sporting activities you fancy, and your holiday excursions. In Jamaica, such things don't come cheap, which is probably why some of the major hotels have become all-inclusive. On an all-inclusive holiday, the high price you pay is supposed to cover everything, even your cigarettes. The Boscobel Beach Hotel offers inclusive holidays for families. Is it worth all the money? Is there a catch? Well, there's one way to find out.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Boscobel. My name is
A holiday here starts with what the hotel calls an orientation session, which is when you and your family get to know exactly what your holiday price really does include.
And your nighttime activities for you. Now, I'll be doing orientation, which is going to be for about half an hour or so, just to give you all a basic idea of all that you're packing.
You've paid all this money to have a good time, and you're damn well going to have a good time. And there doesn't seem to be a catch. Every beaker of pina colada, every diet Pepsi, every breakfast waffle, ice cream cone, and every hot dog is handed over on demand. The food? And the queuing for food starts as early as 7:30 a.m. with a buffet breakfast on the pool terrace. And yes, you can stuff yourself with as many pancakes and pineapples as your stomach will take. After all, you've got till lunchtime to work it off. As the hotel brochure says, our entertainment coordinators will take care of you. Eat your heart out, Butlins. These guys never have to wear red jackets, and they get the sunshine too. The atmosphere strikes me as high with palm trees, but the accent is very definitely American, even though some of the games make me homesick for Blackpool. And if getting free drinks on demand isn't enough, at the cocktail mixology classes, you can learn how to make them. At lunchtime, there is another buffet by the pool, or you can bags a burger at the beach cafe. You sign up along here for the water sports: sailing, scuba, snorkeling, windsurfing and water skiing. The water is warm and the lessons are free. It's certainly not the biggest beach in the world, but it does seem full of happy, contented souls and our noisy transatlantic cousins going for it, or rather making sure that they and Junior are getting their money's worth. The building work is for another restaurant. Rooms, by the way, are lovely and large, with American TV that mesmerises most British children. What your holiday price does not include is a true feel of the real Jamaica, that troubled, beautiful, alive and sensuous island. Inside the guarded fences round all these inclusive hotels, Jamaica has been sanitised so as not to disturb us tourists too much. The hotel does throw in some free excursions, which include a 900-feet climb up the Duns River Falls, where you can join the crocodile and be photographed for a souvenir of your holiday of a lifetime. And there's a daily free bus to the shops and the tourist craft market of Ocherius. Mind you, as holidaymakers from the all-inclusive hotels, who've paid a holiday price to include all our food, drink and entertainment, can't be much of a catch for the Jamaican traders. After all, we're hardly going to want to shell out much cash outside the hotels, are we? Back at base, there's time to work up an appetite for another meal, and there are hotel coordinators to take the children off our hands.
Spending the day without your wallet or your handbag takes some getting used to, and those social niceties like taking turns to buy around are rather meaningless when all the drinks are free. Between the three main meals of the day, there's limitless popcorn and drinks on the terrace, and limitless ice cream and drinks on the beach. My only problem in this heat is summoning up the energy for the very many activities on offer all day and every day.
So how do the British families take to all this cash-free hedonism?
It's really great. There's an awful lot to do. You can either go down to the beach or you can stay up here. And there's lots of kids about and you can really mingle in, basically.
There's no hooliganism here, you know, it's mainly all families, so you don't get the sort of 1830 types here. It's good fun, you know, everybody has a good time.
And once you're here, you're thoroughly spoiled. Europe isn't the same, I don't think. We can do what we like here, the children can do what they like here on their own and with us. So it's a family holiday, we can play games, they can play games, you know, it works out really well.
Well, it's cost about £8,500 because we're flying back club, which adds another 1,000. It's quite a lot, really.
About £5,000, but we paid the extra to have a bigger room and to fly club class, so it would have been much less. It's probably about 2,000 extra paying for the nice bits.
Yes, I do think it's been worth it. I know it isn't cheap, but I think, yes, because there's so much going on and, you know, she is catered for and we're catered for too, and the fact that we feel safe.
Tipping is strictly forbidden. Rumour has it that a barman was sacked the week before we arrived for taking a tip. It was probably from someone trying to buy their way to the front of a queue.
Boscobel Beach Hotel is obviously not for families who enjoy only their own company, who relish peace and solitude, and who really want to get to grips with the country they're visiting. Since we've been here, every British family I've spoken to has said how they're having a wonderful time. The children are not bored, And the parents think it worth every penny of the cost of the holiday. Is there a catch? No, in Jamaica when they say all-inclusive, they mean all-inclusive.
Security guards keep the locals out of the hotels at all times. Well, at least that way the Jamaicans who don't work in the hotel are spared the awesomely dreadful sight of what's being done to their culture in the name of tourism.
How low can you go? Alison and the team went to Boscobel Beach with Thompson Holidays. It's currently the high season in Jamaica, and that all-inclusive price at the moment is £1,013 for a week, £1,597 for a fortnight, and children under 11 get a 65% discount. But couldn't you have just as much fun in Blackpool for a lot less money, I wonder?
But do you get the weather? That's the question, isn't it? Well, next summer in Jamaica, which is in fact the low season, the price for a fortnight costs from £1,585. Do bear in mind, though, that summer in the Jamaica, although it's warm, can mean clouds and rain. Time now for Johnny Godfrey and Passport.
We found spaces for Christmas at Pontins in Somerset, where a chalet for 4 people for 4 nights from the 23rd of December costs £189. And you can still book into Butlins in Ayr in Scotland for 5 days on full board. Christmas prices start at £369. There are 5 places left on a 23-day tour of Brazil, Paraguay, Bolivia and Peru, leaving on the 18th of December. That costs £1,919, and the operator is Journey Latin America. Phone them on 081 747 8315. Go Canaries are offering a week in Tenerife, leaving on the 11th of December. It was £159, but they've just dropped the price to £139. And Ski World have a week in a catered chalet in Val d'Isère in France for £228 from the 15th of December. That's if you fly. It's even cheaper by coach. Ski World's on 071 602 4826. And just in, Olympic Holidays are selling flights to Cyprus on the 8th of December from Luton for £139 return and from Heathrow from £175. And Oztravel tell us that they have a few seats left in Melbourne and Perth on the 3rd and 4th of December, and they're dropping the return fare to £599.
Quite a bargain, isn't it? Thanks, Johnny. Now you can sit back and enjoy our third report on the National Parks of America. This time we take you around the American National Park of Yosemite.
Tucked away in the Sierra Nevada mountains on California's eastern border, Yosemite's 1,200 square miles were carved out of granite during the last ice age. The glaciers left a landscape of titanic boulders, wide rivers and fertile soil, making this not only one of the most dramatic, but also probably the prettiest of America's national parks. But if you had to pick just one word to describe why Yosemite is so famous, that word would have to be waterfalls. In fact, the park has been nicknamed the place of dancing waterfalls, and it's full of them. Broad ones, skinny ones, short ones, and very, very tall ones. This is Ribbon Fall, 1,600 feet straight down, the highest single fall in the park. But if you think that's impressive, try this. Compared to this, Niagara Falls is like the overspill on Bath Night. This is Yosemite Falls, made up of 3 sections which together drop no less than 2,400 feet, 13 times higher than Niagara, making them the second highest falls in the world. The rivers and falls are fed by melting snow from the mountains, and by August, when the annual thaw is over, many of them have slimmed down to a feeble trickle. But Yosemite has its own version of Yellowstone's Old Faithful, and this waterfall, Bridal Veil, keeps going all year round. But waterfalls aren't the only natural wonder in Yosemite. Those glaciers met some pretty stiff opposition in this part of the world, and they didn't always come off best. The park is punctuated by a series of huge granite boulders, rubbed smooth by the ice. The biggest is El Capitan, at 3,600 feet, roughly the same height as Ben Nevis, and the biggest lump of solid granite anywhere in the world. Lunatics come here just to practice rock climbing. Rock climbing and rock slipping. Another of the park's most famous boulders is Half Dome. The glaciers got crafty on this one. Instead of trying to wear away the boulder, they just carried off the ground underneath it, and half the dome collapsed. One of the best ways of seeing the park is by air, and the granite boulders make great lift-off points. Yosemite's Mariposa Grove is well known for its trees, but not just any old trees. These are sequoias, the biggest living things on Earth, and this is the most famous of them all. It's called the Grizzly Giant, and as well as being huge, it's also ancient. Around the time that the infant Jesus was drawing his first breath, this tree was already 700 years old. It's 200 feet tall, despite the fact that its top has been knocked off by lightning. That's the only real drawback about being a sequoia. Some clever devil worked out that if you live that long, you're absolutely bound to get hit by lightning, although most of them get over it. Like all the national parks, Yosemite is full of wildlife. This is one of the oddities. It's called an ouzel, and it's part bird, part submarine. Most birds which catch food underwater have got webbed feet or shovel beaks, but not the ouzel. It just gets on with what it's got. The park is great for those who like to stretch their legs in the open air. There's camping, 800 miles of backward tracks, riding the trails, and in winter there's some breathtaking skiing. But if all that fresh air proves too much for you, there are also plenty of places where you can stagger out of the car, find yourself a comfy place to sit and watch the waterfalls fall or the boulders grow just a couple of hours more ancient.
Well, if that's persuaded you that you really must visit Yosemite, the nearest major airport is San Francisco. That's about 140 miles away. Best return fare at the moment is £335 from Trailfinders. That's on 071 937 5400.
And if you want information from this week's programme, send us a stamped addressed envelope. The address is Getaway, PO Box 4RW, London W1A 4RW. Do drop us a line at that address if there are any countries or particular holidays or topics you'd like us to cover for you. And if you are off on your travels, we like getting postcards too, especially Michele, don't you?
Do you get lonely otherwise? Well, that's all the sunshine we can offer this week. Join us next week when we plan to whisk you away to more wonderful holiday destinations. How could you resist?
Until then, goodbye.
Bye-bye.